Kelen Perik Chafei Mishnah Gimel. Right, another introduction. Acharayim v'toich, again. The basic rule is, whenever kli with a toich, mashkin touch the toich, the inside, the whole thing becomes tummy. Mashkin touch just the acharayim, then just the acharayim become tummy, not the toich. And the din is also, which I haven't mentioned before, that when you actually tovel this keli, you only have to tovel the acharayim. The water doesn't even have to get into the toich. That's rule number one. Rule number two is actually the din mentioned in the next Mishnah, Mishnah Daled, called the rule of roiva and chatzi roiva. This rule tells us when I have a kli with two toiches, in other words, it's a keli with two distinct compartments, a bowl with a line down the middle. Then the din is that each, from tumas mashkin only, each section is treated separately. So if one half becomes tamei, it's only that half that stays tamei, the other half is tahor. That din, where we actually have a split treatment and we say only each half remains tahor, only each half becomes tamei, the other half remains tahor, has got another unusual twist to it. That although that's true, only half the kli is tahor. When I tovel the kli, although I only have to tovel one half, the half which is tamei, but the whole acharayim is tamei as well. I have to tovel the whole acharayim. When I said that only one half becomes tamei, the other one remains tahor, it's just the toich of the second one which remains tahor. Those are the two introductions you need for this. What we're dealing here in this Mishnah is another type of kli. There's many ways of learning this Mishnah. I'm presenting to you the Perish of the Chazon Ish. The keli mentioned in this Mishnah are also got two toiches, but here, instead of the two toiches being equal in chashivas, being of equal importance, we have here a primary toich and a little auxiliary one, a subsidiary one on the side. That's the kli we're talking about here, and with a three-way machlokas. So let's just do the translation of the Mishnah. Midos yain v'shemen. We're dealing with here with some sort of measuring jug for wine and oil, and it's got a main measuring part, and it's got a little cup or bowl on the side. We're not quite clear exactly what it's used for, what the tsuras hakli is. The main thing is it has a primary kibble and a secondary kibble on the side. Zuma listro, we've had this word before in Perikut Gimel Mishnah based. Again, this is a kli with two functions. Again, it's got a primary kli, a bowl, and another little one on the side. A sieve used for mustard and a wine strainer. Rameir says, what he says here, this kli, the fact that it's got a primary one and a subsidiary one, means that as far as the rule of mashkin is concerned, and tumas mashkin and acharayim v'toich, this is a regular kli, which has one toich, the main toich, and all the rest is acharayim. So if the tumah lands in the main toich, the whole thing becomes tamei. If mashkin lands anywhere else, it's only the acharayim that become tamei. So Rameir says that these midas yain v'shem and this kli does not have the treatment of the kli in Mishnah Daled, where we split the kli into two. Here we have a regular acharayim v'toich, which means the primary kibble is the main toich, and all the rest is called acharayim. And I'm going to add, according to Rameir, therefore, of course, if it's just the acharayim that became, if the mashkin fell anywhere else but the main toich, and it's just the acharayim that became tamei, then under the normal rule, when you tovel this kli, you just have to tovel the acharayim. You don't have to tovel the toich. That's Rameir. Rabbi Huda Omer Eilahem, he says no. He says this kli will have the same din as the Mishnah in Mishnah Daled, which means, although we have a primary kibble and a secondary toich, a secondary kibble, we regard them as being equal as being a keli with two toiches, and therefore it follows the din of Mishnah Daled, which means if one half becomes tomei, the other half remains tor, and vice versa. Doesn't make a difference whether we're dealing with a primary or the secondary. But similarly, it'll follow the din there that in any case where just one half became tomei, when it comes to toveling, you've got to tovel not just that one half. You have to tovel the whole achirayim, because you never split achirayim into two. Comes along Rabbi Shimon, and he has a third view, which actually is a mixture of the two views above. Rabbi Shimon ema yesh lahem, which means he basically follows Reb Meir, that we don't have a din of rova v'chatzi rova saying nitmozeh, lo nitmozeh, nitmozeh, lo nitmozeh. You have a primary toich, and if it falls into the primary toich, the whole thing becomes tomei. However, if the mashkin falls on the achorov, not in the primary toich, nitmu achorov, then only the achorayim become tomei, just like Rameir said, Masha b'soichon toir. But then he adds that tzorich lahatpil. Although I'm telling you that I agree with Rameir in principle, that we apply the normal rules of achorayim toich, the hainu. If the achorayim become tomei, it's only the achorayim that become tomei. In this case, I say, when it comes to the tvila, I apply the rules of the rova v'chatzi rova, but tzorech lahatpil, you have to tovel the whole thing. Everything has a din of achorayim, and you can't split the achorayim into two. The svaros behind this are quite complex. There's quite a long discussion in the Chazon Ish and the Mefarshim on this, but that's the basic structure of the Mishnah. And Mitzvah Shem will go on to Mishnah Daled, where we'll deal with rova v'chatzi rova, and which is really the more poshut Mishnah of the two. So Mishnah Daled next.